Terry refused to comment when asked last hour about a controversial clown skit that has gotten a whole lot of attention that happened at the Missouri State Fair. The stunt involved a clown wearing a President Obama mask, the kind you see on Halloween, and the clown was chased by the bull, as what happens at these rodeos. Critics immediately lashed out, calling it racially offensive. Days later, the outrage is still apparently boiling over, with the NAACP now saying they really believe that the feds need to get involved in all of this. Trace Gallagher's got the whole backstory to set us up here. Hey, Trace.
Hey, Martha, let me just set this up by actually showing you part of what happened at the Missouri State Fair when the rodeo clown actually put on the Obama mask. Watch this.
And don't forget Obama.
And President Obama.
Hey, I know I'm a clown. He just run around acting like one, doesn't know he is one.
Now, some in the crowd were amused, others were outraged. The state commission called this, the fair commission called the stunt unconscionable. The Republican lieutenant governor said he condemned the act, and so did a Democratic state lawmaker. Listen to him.
We in the legislature appropriate money to the state fair for it to be the crown jewel of Missouri that it has always been. And for something like this to tarnish that is terribly unfortunate. We need to have questions answered.
So now the clown has been banned for life, but the Missouri chapter of the NAACP wants more. They want state funding for the fair to be pulled, and they want the Secret Service and the Department of Justice to conduct a full investigation, saying, and I'm quoting here, incidents involving individuals acting out with extreme violent behavior in movie theaters, schools, churches, political appearances, and outdoor events in general speaks volumes to the irresponsible behavior of all the parties involved, speaking about this rodeo. But it's also important to point out that rodeo clowns have been wearing masks and using props for years and years. For instance, back in 1994, a rodeo clown used a dummy with the face of George H.W. Bush to help distract the bulls. That rodeo clown wasn't fired. In fact, a profile was written about him in the Philadelphia Inquirer concerning an old rodeo hero. And then, remember this, Game of Thrones, when they used George W. Bush's head on a spike for part of that scene? HBO apologized, saying it was a prop mistake. Nobody fired there. And keep in mind that Pearl Jam also used a George W. Bush mask, and they impaled it on the microphone. Madonna also threw a grenade at a figure of George W. Bush on stage. Martha.
So there's that to think about. Trace, thank you so much. Julie Roginski joins me now, Fox News contributor. David Webb, host of the David Webb Show on Sirius XM Patriot. Welcome. Just a couple of minutes, so jump right in. Julie, what do you think about all this?
Oh, this is so silly. I mean, First Amendment right. This clown could go ahead and do whatever he wants. I'm a fan of President Obama, but I certainly believe that anybody has the right to put on an Obama mask, run around and say stupid stuff if they want. He's a clown. He's not there to deliver a Nobel speech. Come on,
David. What about all this NAACP, and we need to put the Secret Service, we need to have an investigation. It reminds them of, horrific violent acts that we've witnessed in this country. Is it that big a deal?
Well, as someone who's been to many rodeos, I lived in Houston, I've been to the Pasadena rodeo.
This isn't your first rodeo, in other words.
This is my first rodeo, or as the NAACP would like to call them, probably Klan rallies. This is what happens at rodeos. They put on clown masks, and he's chased around. They make fun of the clown, not the person. They've done this with presidents over time. Every president in some form, if they've made a mask, Nixon, otherwise, it's been done. What it is first of all, let me just mock them for a moment. They're a bunch of weenies. The left are a bunch of weenies who can't take a joke and have to cry racism to try and create a political class. Julie, I'll exempt you from this.
Thank you.
With the exemption of Julie Roginski, these are a bunch of weenies who have nothing better to do than really take something way out of context, Martha. And frankly, we have much bigger issues in this country, but this is a great distraction. We're talking about rodeo clowns when we should be talking about the economy.
But I think there's a question of taste here. I happen to think that that's in bad taste. I think it was in bad taste when they did it to President Bush. I think it's in bad taste when Madonna, throws the grenade. I think that those are things that should be discouraged. But we seem to make the leap in this country to, discussion about bad taste, and what you would say to your kids, say, like, you know what, that's not cool what they're doing right now.
You're absolutely you're absolutely right.
And then we go right to the whole Secret Service and
Right.
the NAACP.
So,
and
yeah, it's in bad taste, but you're going to defend their right to do it because you can't legislate stupidity, right? You can't legislate bad taste.
They try to use the law, and let me use the example. They want tax money taken away from the rodeo, from the state fair. By the way, does anybody know that tax credits go to HBO for Game of Thrones, for Bill Maher, for all of these?
They don't want that taken away.
No, of course not.
Interesting. Very
Martha,
good point, David.
They are a bunch of weenies who have nothing better to do.
Not wiener, you're
Grow
saying.
up.
They're weenies.
Oh, they're worse than wiener in some ways.
They're worse than wiener. Wow, it's quite
At
a
least he
statement.
can laugh at himself, sadly. But
Yeah, I have to agree with you. This is ridiculous. Come on. Lighten up, Missouri.
Lighten up. They're tripping all over themselves trying to make sure that they get rid of this. They want this in the past.
Right.
From Claire McCaskill on down. David and Julie, thank you so
Thanks
much.
so much.
Good to see you,
Thanks,
Martha.
guys. All right, back to this very serious story that we're